guys. Welcome to episode 10.
I'm Debbie.
There you go.
Stephanie.
I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Lisa McIntyre. This is Working Wonders. We had a false start, so forgive our little hiccup there in the beginning. My goodness. All right. So this week is the first of a two-part series. We are going to be discussing our tools and equipment that we deem absolutely necessary for what we do. Today, we're going to be discussing tools. Next week, we'll be discussing larger equipment, those bigger purchases. And today, Debbie is going to start us off with her kit.
We
Debbie?
will eventually get this intro right. One episode, we will just do
Right.
it. You won't even know we've been rehearsing for years and years. Anyhow, hi everybody. I'm going to turn off my background so that you'll be able to see me showing you stuff better. So just give me a second to do that. And you'll see my very sloppy workroom, but that's what we all have in the background. The feathers
They
are
see it on
just
Tuesday
odd.
nights anyway.
Anyway, one of the things is not really in my kit, but one of the things I wanted to show everybody, it's called, I used to have something called a trunk ease, but this is called actually a stay hold. And what I do is I stick this part under the tank in my car, and it has Velcro, so it sticks to the carpet of my car, and it keeps my tanks from rolling. I have a minivan. I don't have anything permanent to keep my tanks steady. So I find this is like a great tool that I thought I would just share with you. But I'm going to share my shoot bag that everybody has. Though we call it our kit, and I'm going to move it here where you can see it, sort of. And it's also like kind of like a bag. We bought it from Michael's. It comes on wheels. It has a gazillion pockets and apparently Velcro that sticks to my shirt. So we have that too. And inside I really have, I think, what pretty much everybody has. I have a big pump. I have a small pump. Whoops. I have a gazillion different kinds of tapes. See, I have a pump. I have a spare nozzle, but it's only a latex nozzle because I keep like a multiple nozzle in my car. I have here all sorts of, like a pliers and a snipper. And I even have in here something that I got from one of the conventions, which is one of these multi-purpose tools that I don't even know all the things that it does, but it has like a little ruler and it has also, I think, a snipper, and you can see how often I use it because I can't even open it. So, but it's good to know that I have it. Like I feel very good knowing that I have it, though I don't think I would ever remember that I actually have it when I would need it, but good to have. I also keep in my kit one of those little high floats that we got a gazillion of at all the conventions. So I think by now it's frozen, so I'm not so sure it works. So when you have something like this in your kit, make sure that you check it out regularly. And I actually have one where the pump for some reason doesn't really work. But also it's one of the things that makes me feel good because I know I have high float in my kit. Not that I would ever use this one. I always put high float in the bag that I use with the actual job. One of the things that I think is a little unusual, I have a mini glue gun and glue, which I think comes in handy. Like you wouldn't necessarily think of that as something that you would keep for a job, but you never know when you might have to glue something together. I have little rubber bands, and I was just showing Lisa one. Oh, and I also, before that, I also, besides tapes and all sorts of monoline and Dacron line and marked arch line, I also have ribbon. I keep a roll of black and a roll of white. Also, I think I also have a roll of blue in there. It's something like you can always use it. Like it, I can't keep ribbon forever. There used to be a kit from Qualtex that had like little samples of 65 different ribbon colors. But once I used those up, I wasn't going to buy ribbon to put in that kit. So this is just like wherever I am, if I needed ribbon, I could always use a black or a white or a blue. I figure, of course, unless, of course, it's like pink and fuchsia, and then I'm really in trouble. But hasn't happened so far. I think I'm talking very fast. You'll have to excuse me. I'm not nervous.
We got time. We got time.
I looked at the clock. One of the things I also carry in my kit, which everybody might not think of, is straws. Especially now, I carried them even before COVID, but especially now with COVID when we don't want to, and you might have a Mylar that needs blowing, and those pumps, unless you have the little purple one, the pumps are not so easy to use for Mylars. So it's always handy to have a straw. And I don't know why I have the little bendy ones. I also have the big you know, the kind you use like for Slurpees, but these are really much better because it's a thin little thing and it goes right into the thing. I also keep in my kit.
Those fit better in the Mylars. Like I found
Yeah,
the
they
bendy
do than the
straws
big.
seem to be thinner. Like they're skinnier.
It smushes a little if you need to get it through, like even
Yeah.
a 4-inch heart, though I do not have a heat sealer in here, so that won't do me any good. I also keep a variety of weights. I have clip weights. I have a couple of these fancy weights that also I figure would sort of go with anything. And we basically, most of the time, we use tiles or we use sand weights. And I will show you, I spoke about this a few weeks ago. We get balloons with our old logo, unfortunately, printed upside down. In other words, it's printed, you know, neck up. And we use these for weights so that everybody can get our phone number and they know where those gorgeous balloons came
Let
from.
me get my little piece of paper to start taking some notes.
See?
Yeah, I really like that.
That I mentioned a few weeks ago when we were talking about marketing, but I don't think I didn't have a sample. And it's really, we wait until like Burton and Burton has a sale on their imprint, like twice or maybe even 3 times a year they have where there's no plate fee. So we order it and then we order, I don't know, 500 or 1,000, half in black, half in white, so that also they sort of go with everything. The black goes with all the dark colors. Most of the time you can't really see it anyway. So I have a couple of those in there, a couple of just plain weights. It's actually a silver balloon. I just grab a couple weights, and I also have a few clips, and I also have a few of those the samples that you get, you know, of like the hearts and the thing. You never know when you're going to need a weight. I also keep a bag of 260s in there because that's like the most valuable balloon tool there is. They have like so many multiple purposes, and you can always use a 260, and if not, you can entertain a cranky child, so always good to have in your bag. I also, this bag also has a lot of pockets and zippers. I don't even know what everything is, but in here I have a little static guard. You can buy those in CVS, like the little sample ones. Today I had a bunch of balloons popping. I have old business cards. I'll have to replace them with the new ones. But I think,
hey, what do you use that static guard for?
I have, like today, I had a bunch of balloons popping. Like if you're inflating in a venue, sometimes it's just, you find that the balloons are just popping and pop. You spray a little static guard all over, and it really helps.
Really?
And also, if your shirt is sticking to your skirt, or you know, your tights are all sticky, so it comes in handy for that too. But yeah, today I had I was doing some chrome gold balloons, and every time I turned around, something was popping. I'm guessing because the heat was on. So I sprayed the whole area with, sometimes also your ribbons, like they sort of float out.
Yeah.
Spray it with static guard. So that's, I have a little tape measure, though I don't think I've ever used it on a job. And I also keep usually a few of these. I don't know why I only have one of those things that you get at conventions, and they stick it in your swag bag, and it has a sample of balloon bond, and it has usually has a magnet or two in it, has a couple of hang tabs. I just keep the whole thing until I've used everything useful in it. But I usually keep, like whenever I get them from conventions, I throw them in there. I also keep, and this is something you can buy. I'm also giving you sources. I'm such a useful and resourceful person. We bought these from Costco. These, I keep a couple pairs of these in my kit, mostly for when I'm picking, lifting and placing the weights that we, you know, the bases that we make. We all call them the David Mahoney bases. So those bolts are really, they can really rip your hands apart. So I keep a couple of pairs of these because usually I use it and then I throw it in the car and then I forget to put it back in the kit. And then so I have 2 or 3 in the kit. So it takes me a while to, then I clean my car. Say, oh, here's all my gloves. And I put them back in my kit. Let me see what I have in this pocket. I did look at it today. Oh, I have one of these. So also, I don't think I've ever used it on a job. One of these, you know.
Yeah.
Also very good when you have to do finger therapy. And probably the most useful thing in my bag, which also I've only used once or twice, I have a little first aid kit with Band-Aids. Used to have Neosporin, but I guess I used that up. I think a couple of towelettes, so now I have tons of that stuff in my car. This is not the best first aid kit. I really need to get like a bigger one with more Band-Aids and like I said, Neosporin. You should also have, like, I'm thinking while I'm doing this, a few, a small bottle of Tylenol or Advil. You never know what's going. We all know. We've all had that time. I'm sorry you don't see my
Yep.
face. We've all had that time when something happened on a job and you said, or you come to a job and you think, oh, I wish I had an Advil. So it's good to have it with you. Now I have this, which I want to show you, which I think I won it, or I won something like this filled at like a Burton and Burton thing from Peggy Williams, who likes me and always tries to sort of throw me something to win. Thank you,
Peggy's
Peggy.
actually watching right now,
Oh,
and
I love Peggy.
she's
See, I
loving
gave
our
you a
fuzzy
shout out.
backgrounds.
And in here, well, I have hang tags, which are also like, that's how we attach like foils to foils. We cut them, and we cut, because the hang tabs are very long. We cut off a piece and then we put that piece over where it's attached to the foil to give it like a little extra connection. And we also have those small hang tabs, the little ones. And then in here, I have all those little things that get lost in your kit, like balloon bond, another static guard. I have one
I'm
of these
getting some of that.
crazy screwdrivers that also I don't think I've ever used on a job, but I bought it because it's just so cool. It has all those different heads you can put in it, so you could open or close anything. But I thought I lost one, but it's right here in my kit. But it's just, you know what, like I said, it's like they say in the airplane, they teach you how to take down your mask, and in any emergency, and your flotation device is flotation. Oh, how cute! Is under your. I didn't even do that on purpose, Steve. That was just a shameless plug. But
That
they
was
tell
just
you
for
all
you,
that stuff on the
Steve.
plane. So this is also on any emergency that should never come. I have a couple of cup and sticks, though actually now I'm thinking I don't have any sticks, but I have cup and sticks. I have zip ties. I only have short ones because if I really need them for a job, I'll put them in the bag with all the stuff. We always have a few magnets, little ones, big ones. Again, because you never know when you're going to be in some sort of trouble. And I have a magnet, I can fix this. I also have a few converter plugs, because in a few places, especially in New York City, they only have the old sockets. So this will convert any of my machines that I bring with me to
That's a good
to
idea.
go. Yeah,
Better to have it, not need it. Than
again,
need it,
like
not
I
have
said,
it.
on any emergency that shouldn't come. That's the expression I use. These are greening sticks. I don't know if you use them in general. We used to use them before we got a pick machine and when people still did centerpieces that had picks in the bottom, which also nobody does anymore. But you never know. These are great for attaching things into something. Again, they don't take up room in this thing, so I have it's all good. I have different size magnets besides the big ones and the medium ones. I also have these little tiny baby ones. Sorry. And what else do I have in here? Oh, this is from a very long time ago. These are I think they're called carpet somethings. Carpet. We used to, in the olden days, sometimes if you wanted to do an arch in a hotel and you didn't want to use a
those
weight,
are
you would tie the
drapery
mono
hooks.
and slip this into the carpet. So they're still in my kit, because what on earth else would I
Yeah,
ever
those
do?
are drapery hooks. I know
Are
them as
these
drapery
drapery
hooks.
hooks? I don't
Yeah.
think, these are not pleating. These are not the ones that you make pleats from. No, I've done that. These are not pleating hooks. These are made for carpet. They're very sharp on the bottom.
Peggy Williams is backing me up. She says they're drapery hooks. So there.
But they're not pleating. They're not the ones that you make pleats for drapes with. Because I
don't know. I don't know about pleats. I know that we've used those before to hang drapes at
Watch
my
out,
mother's
because it
house.
just
That's
poked
as far
through
as
your
I know.
bag.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we can agree to disagree. They could be drapery, but we use them in carpet on the thing. See, you're having
It's really clever.
my toolkit, you're also getting a trip down memory lane. So I'm trying to think. I keep, glue. We prefer of everything the glue strips, because we find you can cut them to sort of go to any. So I have a few of those in here. Here's another shameless plug. I don't even know if this is good anymore. I have a little hand sanitizer. Whenever I get stuff from conventions, I look what I can put in my kit, because it's all stuff that's, handy to have. And this whole thing goes into the side of my of my bag, which I call my kit. I don't call it oh shoot, and I certainly don't call it anything else. So it's maybe my oh shoot bag, but that's generally what I have. I think I showed you pretty much everything. We also, when we were talking about what we take on jobs, we usually put a crate together with the spare balloons, and if I'm going to use monoline, if I need Dacron line, and if I need high float, and those big things always go in the crate with the job.
Right.
So that's not stuff that I would carry. Like, even though I have that high float, it's not, it's not a great high float, and I really, wouldn't necessarily use it. So I don't carry stuff like that so much in my bag. So maybe it's not even an oh-shoot bag. It's really just my kit. So that's it, folks. I mean, I have an apron also and all sorts of other stuff.
I love it.
Somebody else have it?
Yeah, I'm going to focus on my apron that I actually bring to gigs, but I did want to point out that Jessica Zillman says that she keeps the little straws from the 14-inch foils in her kit. And funnily enough, that's what I usually have in my apron. And I usually have like 2 or 3 of them in there, and I don't have any at all. So I'm glad she brought that up. And then several people, Dina actually said a first aid kit is a must. She's tearing down an arch using a handy dandy razor tool from Float. You all know where this is going. And she got her finger, and she didn't have a Band-Aid, so then she ended up going through her car to look for something to stop the blood.
I actually keep a first aid kit in my glove box as well.
Yeah, I do too. And Jessica Zillman brought up keeping dryer sheets available for the static. There a lot of
I like the smell of the static guard. So.
I do too, and I keep it on hand just for I have a little pump of it. It's a little travel size pump. I keep it in the console of my car for clothing, but it's come in handy for balloons too. I do have a lot of the things that, like, I'm sure these other 3 ladies are going to mention, a lot of the stuff that Debbie mentioned, but that would be like in my toolkit or things that are permanently in my vehicle. I'm going to focus more on my balloon apron because this is like literally my must have. This bag pretty much goes with me on every job that I go on, whether it's my job or if I'm flying to a gig. Steve mentioned that I'm a hired gun, and so I bring this with me. And it's, whenever I'm traveling, largely the tools and stuff are being supplied by whoever hired me. But this is the stuff that I have to have on hand just in case. And so I'm going to take it out without spilling it everywhere. And I think what I need to do is stand up to show you guys this.
I have that same apron.
So
you could see it well when you were holding it,
but I can't unpack it while I'm holding it. So
I think you need to stand on a step stool, Lisa.
Debbie, you were saying that your high float thing wasn't working. I had to take mine completely apart and run warm water through it because it was like dried and something I don't know what happened, but I took the whole thing apart, washed it out, and then put it all back together, and it started working. So I don't know if maybe disassemble it and then reassemble it.
No, this is the little one that comes with.
Yeah, I had to disassemble. But it
doesn't have anything stuck in it. It doesn't pump. It doesn't. You have to look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to.
It was probably just black.
I had to
take it. It was black.
Yeah,
I could not get it to unhook.
To uncut. Yeah, I had to take my computer to get it to unhook because that's a lifesaver for sure.
Okay, so
sorry, Lisa.
That's okay. Back to my apron. So I'm going to start on the side here and just work my way around. I have a multi-tool here, which comes in really handy. It is pliers. It's got all kinds of knives and screwdrivers and things in it here, Phillips and
like mine. Only you know how to open yours.
Yeah, it's really handy. I strongly recommend one of these. I used to have one in my car too, but it's better if it's on me. I have a couple. I'm going to unplug my headphones here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple pair of scissors. So these are ones that I can unclip and hand to somebody. I've gotten to the point where I actually bring this along for whoever it is I'm working with, because I have all of my things right here within reach, and inevitably somebody comes over and wants to borrow my scissors. So I can hand them this, and I can keep my nice ones. These are the kind, what are they? Titanium ones, something like that, where
Yeah, they're like
the
fabric
glue
scissors,
and
right?
the balloon bond doesn't stick to them, which is really handy, and they're less than the 6 inches, so I can actually take these on the airplane with me. These only cut balloons or fabric. That's the rule with these ones. Which
And they're
also
on a
makes,
stretchy cord, right?
well, these are,
There's
it's
on a
actually attached to
260.
me by a balloon. So if I have to, I can cut it real quick and use it elsewhere. But generally it's just attached with a balloon, and it's because it's not meant to come off. It's meant to stay with me at all times. Let's see. This pocket I leave empty because that's where my phone goes. It's always empty, so I just slide my phone in here. Zipper pocket. I keep, let's see, business cards. There's always money in here. Usually it's a $20 bill. Looks like I haven't replaced that yet. And if I need like my ID and everything, I keep in the back of my phone. It has a sliding door on it. So I actually have that with me, but if I need more credit cards or something, I like that I have this this space for zippers. And then occasionally I get paid with a check or something, I can slide that in there and zipper it closed so I don't lose it. That's happened before. I don't like doing that. So it's nice having that little zipper pocket to keep things safe. In here, again, I'm right-handed, okay? So in here, I always keep a handful of click magnets. And what's great is whenever I'm on a gig, and I'm doing a tear down, I have the magnet and I cut it down, I can just attach it to the outside and it sticks because there's already click magnets in there. And then whenever I'm done, I can just grab the whole handful of them and shove them inside. And even though I'm on somebody else's job, I always bring a handful of these because you never know when you need them. See, this is
When
a
something
spool,
that you thought would work doesn't, and you need a magnet.
and it's happened before.
Yeah, us too.
We were on a gig in Texas, and you know, the person I'm working with is up on a ladder and is like, oh, if only I had a click magnet. And I actually had one on me, and it was like that was all we needed, and we were able to hang what we needed. So it comes in handy. This is like a little spool of fishing line. It's just a emergency. Found this at like Ollie's or something like that, where it was just like a small enough spool. And whenever I run out of it, I'll add more on. But it's just in case, right? Let's see. I have a mini thing of gaff tape. Again, you know, whatever gig I'm on should have it. But say I'm up a ladder or something, I have this right here, so I don't have to go back down or go out to the car to get something.
Where did you get a mini gaff tape? Like
Yeah,
I
where'd you
was
get a
just
little
thinking
one?
that.
Oh goodness, I don't recall. I mean, it is actual gaff tape. I don't know if you can see it says gaff power on it.
Yeah, no, we can see.
I bought it years ago. I haven't used very much of it because usually I have my bigger rolls of gaff tape or
Right.
duct tape on the job. But I have this, it doesn't take much room, and it's always on me just in case. And then this is just really heavy duty line. And it was just left over from a job, and I wadded it up and put a nozzle of a balloon around it just in case. And I've actually used some of this at a gig before. All right, there's that. Oops, here's another one. A smaller one, because it's better to have it and not need it than need to not have. This is my balloon bayonet from Matt Falloon makes these in Australia. It's got a razor blade in it. Slides on to belt loops or whatnot. Usually they're the single color. I've got a couple of these, so this one got hodgepodge together. And you can replace the razor blade on this. And if it gets dull, you can take the razor blade out and switch it and actually use another part of it. So
I never thought of putting that on my apron.
oh
Yeah.
my goodness,
Comes in very handy.
I live for this thing.
Because I don't like to put it on my skirt, because then I usually wear an elastic waist, so it like
put it on your apron, and you
do
can
it
do
and
this.
your clothes are falling off.
Do you see this here?
Yeah.
I wrapped a balloon around it, it's a 260 and wrapped it around it a couple times to make it extra grippy. So you see how it
doesn't
hinges
fit.
there? And so it's less likely to come sliding off. It's a little harder to get on too.
That's
but
a
it
great
really
idea,
grips.
Lisa.
Yeah, and then I have my assortment of Sharpies. I do write on the balloons if I inflate them and it's not quite the right size. I'll write in a small number close to the nozzle what size that was, because maybe I need it later. I have a pen in case I need to sign checks or whatever. In here, some adhesives, this flat pocket. I usually don't like the glue dots, but I carry this with me because it doesn't take up much space. And I'm not going to use it if it's sitting in my office. So I have it with me. I very much prefer the U-glue dashes, and keep those in the flat pocket here. In this puffy pocket, I have my good earplugs. These are the ones I use the most. I have a emergency mag mover top. I've actually gone to a hardware store to buy a pole to screw this on to use it in an emergency when I was on a gig out of state. And those magnets are really handy, but if you need to actually attach them to something, you can't reach it.
Right.
You need this part. And these are like $15. It doesn't take up much room. I carry this with me all the time. I've got another one in the mat pocket of my car. Let's see. Oh, measuring tape. So this is a little one. And then I have my big roll of athletic tape. I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but this is a must-have. I think everybody should have some of this with them at all times on a job. And then over here, big pocket again, I have my big razor blade for popping things. I'll loan this out to people before I give them my fancy scissors. I also have, I'm very, very passionate about those scissors. I've lost scissors before. I bought a good pair. They don't ever leave my side. And then I got an emergency little guy, just in case. And that goes in this little side pocket. And again, in this big flat pocket here, I have my measuring device. This is Bosch. And I don't know if anybody has these. In my toolbox, I actually have extra batteries for these, but this is fantastic. If anybody ever goes on site, it's so nice. You just take it and you set it on the ground and push the button and it tells you exactly how tall the ceiling is. If you want to know how far to get from here to there, you just push the button and it tells you. You're not sitting there with the measuring tape. Bosch. They come in like 65 foot, 100 foot, 140 foot, something like that. They
super
run
helpful.
depending on
I had one years ago.
One of the best
Will
things
it
about them
measure from
too,
point A to point B? Like, can you set it
yeah,
to see like the width of an arch?
You can actually set it where you can measure. You can be standing here, measure to here, still be standing here, measure to here, and it will tell you how tall the floor is here or the distance from here to here. Like it will do actual math equations for you.
Wow.
I don't do that. It's not something that I have needed to do. I'm not doing installs like that, but it could do that. One thing that comes in really handy is that it's got a red laser on it. And so I've been on a gig before where I have gone and handed this to, you know, our artistic director, whoever's in charge. And then I climb the ladder and I'm like, use the red laser. So it's like a laser pointer.
Right.
Oh, cool.
What
To show you where it needs to go.
Instead of me going, which pink one? And I'm, you know, trying to figure
How
it
far
out. Like
over? 2 inches, 4 inches, right?
Yeah. And it's like, they can just literally point to it instead of being way down on the floor trying to, or, you know, if somebody else is up on the ladder, I can use it to point it and go, no, that one there. So this thing is really invaluable. Like I said, they're about $100, but I mean, you know, love it. Let's see, that's all for the flat pocket. This zipper pocket's got a lot of stuff in it, so I'm just going to jump to this one next. In my my poofy pocket down here, I keep a bandana. It's already tied to the size of my head. So if I'm dealing with static or whatnot, I've been on jobs before where it's just like I can just put it on my head slide it back, and now my hair's out of my face. Now my hair's a little bit longer, so it's less of an ordeal. I can put it in a ponytail. We'll see if that lasts whenever I go back to work. But I've actually taken this and spritzed it with water before to clean my balloons off or de-static something. So this has gotten used to just clean stuff on gigs or just get the static out of my, keep the staticky hair out of my face. And then I just come home, throw it in the wash, and put it back in my apron. Always end up putting extra balloons in here. It's sometimes a trip down memory lane whenever I open this up, because it's like, oh, I remember this was from such and such job or whatnot. I usually clean it out at the end of a gig, but there's always an assortment of something in here. It got to be at least a few 260s.
Always.
Again, this is my stuff that I like really want to make sure I have on me. Like if I'm up a ladder, or if I'm alone at a gig, or I don't have access to what's in the toolbox real quick. So, oops, wrong pocket. I'm gonna actually put those back because they're a mess.
I'm impressed that everything has its particular pocket.
I know, I love it.
Oh, if you guys had known me through the years, like you can look back on gigs from me from years and years ago, like 2015, 2016, where I have an apron, and it's something that I had modified over and over again. I had cut things off, added pockets, stitched things on, and this is the culmination of all of those jobs of, what I really need is blank. And so that's why we've got the zippers and clips and all that stuff on there. So back to it. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, like whenever it came to over here where I keep my monofilament, I can drop the monofilament in there and then
I was going to ask if you actually use the fold.
Yeah.
It's so handy. Yeah.
And have the
I
whole.
found it's very often like I get
That's my
tangled
favorite
in
part.
Yeah, and I've actually taken a 260 and put it through. I should have grabbed. Let me grab a spool.
I just thought of something else while she's gone. This balloon striker thing.
Oh,
You just stole one of my kit items.
Oh, I'm
Debbie.
sorry.
No.
I'm sitting here and I thought this should be in my kit. And good news.
Show it. Show it.
I'm sorry. And I figured out how to open up this while she was talking. See, so I have
Sorry.
this all-purpose.
It's been a while. I couldn't remember which drawer I had all my ribbon in. So I will take, and I have put a 260 or piece of monofilament through the ribbon and had it hanging here. And then I'll take, watch me not get the end. Here we go. Take the end of it. And there's, I don't know if you guys see, there's all these little loops here that you can clip things to. And so then as I'm working, it can unspool, and I can just pull what I need off and cut it and then drop it, and then pull what I need off of it and cut it and drop it. But I don't have this hanging off of me all the time. And then getting back to pockets, this last zipper pocket is my self-care pocket. It's probably the one of the important ones. Extra earplugs. My earplugs are very important to me. Let's see. I've got my liquid bandage. All right. If I'm getting a lot of rubbing going on, I'll put this on and then add the athletic tape. The athletic tape is amazing on its own. For really bad stuff though, I'll double it up with doing liquid bandage and then the athletic tape. And if you guys are going to do this, I strongly recommend the Coach Johnson & Johnson brand. Don't get the off market or the off brand stuff. It's not as good. Athletic tape this is what like the football players put on their ankles and their wrists and stuff. When they're out on the field, they're all sweaty and dirty and rubbing around. This is meant to stick to skin. And more importantly, it's meant to come off of skin. It really holds up really well. Like I have my fingers taped and I can just balloon all day long. And it holds up well, and it's a lot cheaper than Gaff Tape. I know a lot of people use Gaff Tape, electrical tape.
I use duct tape.
Yeah, it's way better. It's meant to stick to your skin, and you're not using your equipment so much. And I've actually taken this and tied string to it because it's actually kind of a little blurry. There we go. It's a little squishy and soft, and I've actually used it as a monkey fist. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term.
That's
A monkey fist
funny.
is, sailors use it. It's a knot, a special knot that's weighted and heavy, so they can throw a line up over, I use it to throw it up over a rafter or something when I'm on a job. So if this actually hits somebody in the head, it's soft and kind of squishy, so they can't get hurt. It's come in really handy before.
Maybe you should buy the banana clip
Yeah.
for
yeah. But the banana clip won't fit in my apron. I don't have a pocket for that.
That's true.
You'll
have to make another pocket.
My Motrin.
Right.
As we mentioned before, I refer to this as my candy because it's very important. And I want to acknowledge that Peggy Williams said earlier when you were mentioning the Tylenol and whatnot, she said vodka works better. So
What works better?
Vodka.
Vodka.
Well, I just discovered that this tool that I finally figured out how to open has a can
A
opener
bottle.
on it. So I
There
can
you go.
crack open a bottle of beer while I'm on a job.
So
It has so many
my
cute
lotion
things on it, I didn't even realize.
emergency lotion. I've got my went to a convention, got a little emergency chapstick in a swag bag once. This is like the coolest thing. They're super flat. They're nail clippers.
Nice.
It's there you go. It pops open like, and I got these off of Amazon for a few bucks, but they like fold super flat, so it takes, and they're super light, take no space.
That's a good idea.
More earplugs, because I have enough to share, not that you would do that, and a full-size chapstick. And then, because there's more. There are pockets on the back of this thing. In here, this is where I store a pop-up
Nice.
for holding balloons, which is kind of ridiculous. If I'm not using this on a gig, I will take this out and put it in my may contain balloons bag, so that way it decreases the bulk. But you guys saw I had that on me, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. And I do keep more U-glue dashes in here. We were talking at one point about how these get really cold, and if they're against my stomach, they're actually kind of warm, and it's almost as like I have them in the pocket, but they're in a flat pocket.
Trick too.
And then I can put whatever tissues in here or whatnot. I often have, since this is my right side, if I've got this is like, notes from the last thing I built, like it like my cheat sheet. So if something pops, I can pull it out and see what size balloon needs to go in that space. So that's that.
Nice.
And like I said, I do have a lot of the other stuff that you guys mentioned, but, well, Debbie, but it's all, in my big thing. This is just like the stuff I have on me.
Right.
And even if I'm like in a studio, I walk into the studio, I put that apron on. Like everything I need is just right there, and it doesn't weigh much, and I just have everything, right there. I need to pass this off to one of you ladies. Who wants to go next?
Me. Well, I have to say two things. First. Okay. I have to call her out because I think it's so funny. Mary Lou Kunka keeps her U-glue tabs like in her bra strap, and she calls them boob glue, which I think is so funny.
Great.
And Jessica told me that. I think they actually made a video, and she'll have them like warming up and like getting ready, and she'll be like, "Here you go, your U-glue's ready." And then the second thing I want to say is that I usually have a kit. I call it's my personal kit in my big kit that I'm going to show, but I didn't want to show it on camera. So I usually have it's like a little makeup bag, and I keep a few feminine products in there, Advil in there.
Oh, that's smart to keep it separate.
I do. That's what I do.
There. I just didn't really want to show that on camera.
Yeah.
In my self-care, I did take
Yes.
those items out of my self-care pocket, that little zipper pocket.
I actually have it. I mean, it's like I can see it. It's sitting right on my workbench, but I was just like, no, I don't. We don't need to show that. Okay,
we don't need to go that.
But so, but just so everyone knows,
universal.
Right. I do keep that. Okay, I'm gonna turn my backdrop off as well.
Ooh, I'm gonna need to look through the Okay. The comments here while you're getting ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
John Justice pointed out that the nail clippers are great to cut zip ties too. And that's true. But if you guys noticed, I have like 8 razor blades and cutting implements and scissors on me. So if I'm pulling out the nail clippers, like
I've got to be in a real emergency.
Like how many people needed something that you pulled out?
Yeah, a lot of people walked off with my stuff. So
okay, so I have a similar bag to Debbie's. Mine is the Crop and Style XXL. I'm going to show this part of it first.
So pretty.
Okay, so I have a lot of the same stuff as Debbie, so I'm going to just try to make it very quick. So I have a neck cutter that also has a razor on it that I can hook onto my pans. Tape, I have an extra mass, 260s. I have cheapo 11-inch balloons that I can cover the tops of my conduit poles with for yard art, or, you know, if I need to make a quick water weight in an emergency, I can use those. A tape measure. I also have gloves, like Debbie said. I have mono. I have marked. Can you guys see down here? Mono. Marked arch line, and then I also carry loop line.
I have that too. Yeah.
Okay. And then I do have a thing of Band-Aids, and I have a nail file and a pair of nail clippers in here. So that's the front side.
And I'm getting so many good ideas for things that I should be carrying around.
Yeah, I also have a manual conduit cutter. I usually use a bandsaw. Like, we have a bandsaw that I usually cut it with, but I keep a conduit cutter in there, and I had to use it today.
Judy has one in her kit, and I forgot to put it in mine.
I keep mine in my Legenda bag.
That's my weekly shout out, by the way, that Judy is much more organized than I am.
Okay.
Way to go.
And then I have this side. I have rubber bands. I have lots of different magnets in here. I have my self-tapping screws. I use these a lot for my party poles. I'll do a self-tapping screw because I bang a 3/4 inch piece into the ground, and then all of my party poles are in 1/2 inch. So I usually, if it's a super windy day, I'll drive a self-tapping screw through there. These are my favorite things. I've only used these once. A very good friend of mine, Cindy Cronin, actually told me about these. These are like your workaround. So if you're ever at can you guys see them? There we go. If you're ever at a venue and they have those like partition walls, these are legal. So you can actually, it's kind of like Debbie's little hook. You can hook it into the partition wall, and then you can clip. So if you need to hold up a garland, you can clip your 260 under there. You can actually run your mono over here and clip it. And, you know, then no one can say anything to you, because it's just kind of just like how Debbie said, it slides into the carpet. This will slide right into that partition wall.
What's it called?
Non-damaging. I don't know what they're called, to be honest with you. I got them at Staples. They're little tiny clips, and they're legal. So no one can ever say, you know, anything to you. I have extra tape in here. I have zip ties, big and small. These ones are thicker. These ones are thinner and below. I have extra nozzles here for my inflator that I travel with. I only take one of my inflators with me. So I have an extra foil, an extra latex, and an extra 5-inch. I also keep an extra helium valve in here because I one time had an overzealous assistant that broke off the needle on a job off my tank, or off my what am I thinking of? My valve. Okay, so that's that side.
Okay, Stephanie, those are either called cubicle clips.
Yes, that's what they are called. Cubicle clips.
Yeah, cubicle clips. I googled non-damaging partition clip, and it came up with the cubicle clips.
Oh, that makes sense. That's what it would be.
I was like,
if you want to decorate your cubicle.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Okay, then really I have this side. You guys can't really see the bottom. And here I have a screwdriver. I have a wrench. I have multiple stakes. So if I need to tension rod something, this is a heavy duty stake that will hold up to 25 pounds. These are lighter weight ones that will hold up to 10 pounds. So if it's a super windy day and I just want a little extra protection, I'll run a tension rod off the side of an arch, or if it's a yard number, whatever the case may be. Excuse me. I also have more of them in here. These are actually from one of my kids' little bounce houses that it ended up getting a hole in it. And I was like, hey, let me have those.
It's like yard stakes.
These are extra. Remember last week when we talked about trial by fire with Mary Ellen? These are extra arrow pull bolts. I have literally had, you know, you guys have to remember I'm from Chicago in the Windy City. I have literally had one of these bust out of my arrow pull base.
I've had it happen a few times.
I have 2 of them, and that's what the wrench is in here for. So if I need to repair them, I can.
It's your flotation device.
I have a safety knife. I have all different kinds of markers in here, and I am not a twister, but I have come across in the past, if I've glued something together and it's popped off of a foil balloon, it'll end up like taking the color of the foil with it. Oh. And so I had that happen once, and I don't ever want it to happen again because it really yucked up my design. So I literally have every single color, including silver and gold, that if I needed to fill something in real quick, I could. I have 2 pairs of scissors. I have a magnetic level. Nice. Thank you, Dave Mahoney, for this. I will do this before I put my self-tapping screw in my yard pole. I'll just pop this on. It sticks right to the side of the conduit, and I can see that it's level. Nothing worse than, you know, you're setting something up and it's cockeyed. I actually have 2 of these, but because I'll put it on one on each side, but I used one today. Okay, so that's the front, or that's the other side. And then on the inside of here is where, so all of this space is open in here. Like I could literally like climb in here. So it's so deep. And I will put my extra balloons and stuff. When I'm going in the order, I can fit another. I usually take one of these. Excuse me for 1 second. Depending on how big or small the job is, I can fit a whole Tupperware container in here. So this is, that will fit right on the top of here. I can put all my extra stuff in there. And then I still have space on the bottom. I always carry an extra hat with me, kind of like Lisa's bandana, if I need to just get my hair out of my face. If I'm outside and the sun's like beating down on my face, I have this with me. And then it does have my company logo on it, so I look professional. Also, if I'm just having a really crappy day and I'm running late, I just throw my hat on and I still look professional. I have extra ribbon, just like Debbie. I carry black tablecloths with me. I only carry black with me because black just seems to always, you know, do the trick if you're in a bind. If I need to cover a base, if, you know, something's out of whack. If I end up showing up with an indoor column and they're like, oh, we wanted it to go outside, I can put a tablecloth underneath it and protect the balloons from the grass. I also keep a other tablecloth with me. So when I'm setting up outside or anywhere, I can lay this down and then the balloons aren't on the grass or the balloons aren't on the floor. This is a big like sheet for your bed. I have business cards. I have 2 different kinds of business cards. These are just my business name. These don't have any of my personal information on it. It just has LGM's personal information on it. If it's somebody that I'm making a personal contact with, I have my business cards that have my name and my phone number on them. This has our company website, our company email, and our company information. I don't like people having my phone number unless I give it to them. Mm-hmm. I'm going to save that for last.
Very honored.
You're so funny, Debbie. This is my favorite thing ever. This is my little M12. Goes with me everywhere. This is what I do my tension rods with, or excuse me, my self-tapping screws with. This has come in handy so many times. I also have a really long thing for those people. I don't know if this was popular for anyone else. People would just literally want me to put a 16-inch balloon on the balloon stick that's coiled. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
These thingy-mabobbers. I'll get one if you guys don't know. And they wanted them all over their yard. They just wanted them blowing all around. So, and sometimes to get those plastic things in the ground, you have to hit, even with your super duper grippy gloves on, you can't get it. So I actually bought it's a mason bit, and it's like a 1/2-inch mason bit, and I will drill a hole in the ground, and then I can pop the balloon stick right in there and just kind of like tighten it a little bit, and then it stays, instead of like getting down on your hands and knees and having to squeeze it. So that's that. I obviously have a balloon pump. I also have the small one in here. I carry an extra knot lamp with me. Yep. So these are the poles. I have the base in here. I have an extension cord.
Your kit is like one of those clown cars.
I know, it just keeps
coming out.
going.
Like,
I love it.
Are you sure there's a bottom and
cord.
Your husband isn't just passing things to you through the bottom? Because it's like,
no, I promise. I do have a heat sealer, but I take a hair straightener with me in case I need to heat seal anything.
I have a travel size
in an emergency. Yeah, this is kind of, I could have a smaller one, but this is just an old one, and instead of throwing it out, it went in my kit.
Yeah, I've got a travel size. I found it at a thrift store, and I went, oh, that's going in my balloon kit.
Obviously, U-glue dashes, that's a must for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I have my gaffer's tape, my duct tape, my packing tape, bazillion kinds of tape. I also have a bag of command hooks, every different size, shape, color that you would need. I have a rubber mallet if you need to just get a little something. I also have my high float in there.
Customers who get out of line, the rubber mallet.
Yeah. I also I have my small high float in case I need it. I do also travel with a small helium tank. So I have shown up and I've had people that they're like, hey, we bought these off Amazon. Can you blow them up? And I'm like, yeah, $3 a balloon. Sure. No problem. Yep. This is huge for me. I keep a roll of transfer tape with me in case I've customized the balloon and it pops. I put the transfer tape on, and then I obviously always bring extras with me for the job, so I can take the vinyl off of it and then put it onto the new balloon. So I always have transfer tape. Thank God I've only had to use this one time, but I always have it with me.
Yeah, you only need to use it once to know that.
Right,
you need it once
is enough. Yeah. I usually also have my little feminine, business down in here in my little bag. This is something that I'm super happy about. I actually had this fabricated myself. It is 18 inches long. This is bent rebarb, so it's 2 handles. After last year's yard art craze and constantly doing this with a hammer at the top, I couldn't do it anymore. It was killing my back. So I can literally put this on. The conduit will come up to here, which is about 10 inches, 10.5 inches, and I can bang it down to where it's marked on the bottom. And it's nice. I can literally just drop this thing and it's super heavy. And then if anyone tried to get fresh with me, I could also, knock them out with it as well.
Seriously, how do you fit all of that in there?
Those bags are deep.
It's
they're so big. Yeah.
They're huge.
Dina actually says it's like the Mary Poppins bag, and Crystal Ruton said, LOL. I was just thinking what Debbie just said whenever you were saying how it was like a clown car. Those
like to me a clown car that, there's 45 clowns that come out of it.
That's why I love it. My mom actually, my mom was a diehard scrapbooker, and this was full of cardstock. And she was getting rid of it one day. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, honey, do you need paper? I was like, no, I don't need the paper. I need that bag. So this bag is and it never, my mom didn't use it. It has the handle that pops up. It rolls.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. I also have my striker in here, like Debbie showed. And I think that's it. And then, yeah, like all my stuff can go on top. But these are all of my my usuals. I don't have my manual conduit cutter in here though.
Ronnie, you have a tough job now. Is there anything in your kit that we haven't shown yet?
I did want to, if I could interrupt real quick. Stephanie reminded me, and I'm like, oh, the one pocket I didn't actually finish taking out because she was saying how she had extra. This is there's a really heavy base plate that I use, and this is an extra nut. One time I couldn't find the nut, and so I actually have one of these in my apron just in case. So like they're in the base plates, but then I have an extra one, and then I always keep a couple of these in my apron too. They're the knot lamp screws. And most of my knot lamp poles like have them on it, but I don't know if you guys have ever been where you just need to add one more pole, and if you're away from the studio or whatnot, you don't have one of these, you're in trouble. So
yeah, that's nice. Okay, now who's gonna come put this bag together for me?
Yeah, I know. And a couple people have asked me how much my apron weighs. I'm actually gonna hand it off to my husband and see if I can have him weigh it before the end of the episode. So, and Nika Pranovich, I hope I'm saying that right. Nikia Pranovich wants to know what the bag is called again. It is the Crop Style XXL, and they're hard to find. I know that the Navigator is discontinued. Do you know, is the XXL also
do they have them at Joann's and Michael's?
No,
is that where you get them?
This used to probably, there was so when scrapbooking first got big, there was a company, and somebody's got to know what it is. It was a company that they used to have like home house reps that would come and do parties for you.
Stampin' Up.
Yeah,
Stampin' Up.
It wasn't Stampin' Up. It was before Stampin' Up's time. It was called like Creative something.
Oh, Creative Memories.
Creative Memories. Yes, that's what it was.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that that's where this bag came from.
I bought my bag, which is not quite as big, in Michael's a couple years ago. It wasn't even that expensive. And it doesn't hold quite that much, but it also holds quite a bit.
Yeah, they have small versions at Joann's, because I keep looking at it and then I'm like, I already have enough bags. I can't buy another bag. Dave will kill me if I buy another bag.
Right, and now that the scrapbooking craze has kind of died down a little, if you guys watch on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or the yard sales, they are all over the place. But you might end up like with Stephanie, where it comes with a bunch of cardstock or something in it. So
and then I usually keep a mesh bag on the back, like how Lisa said. Like Lisa has her pop up, well, it's a laundry basket essentially, but to hold her balloons. I will keep a mesh bag on the back that I can, as I'm unbagging things, instead of having like bags all over and crap all over the place, I shove all the bags in there so everything's like nice and neat, and it hangs right off of the back. And then I actually will tie a jewel bag on there as well. So like all my little U-glue dashes, like I can throw all my garbage in there, and then I don't have to worry about that mesh bag is I think it's even like one of the cheap ones from like the dollar store or something. I have really nice large ones that I would take to the gig with me, but that's so small, and if it breaks or rips or whatever, it's kind of hard to find them in all black. I like to have all black, but I do like that one because if I'm at a job or something, like I want to have something, if a balloon pops or whatever, I can throw it in there. I really prefer to have like a pop-up. Even if I'm putting inflated balloons in there, I'll throw my popped balloons in there because they all go down to the bottom. Yep. And then at the end of the gig, I can just dump it out. I'm not like picking everything up.
Yeah.
Right. There's one more thing, because I just put these back in here for the first time. I did my first in-home setup yesterday. I have shoe covers. Like, you know, when the cable guys come to your house and they put the plastic over your shoes. I don't like this, again, trial by fire. I had a little overzealous dog that chewed on the back of my shoe. He chewed the tab off the back of my Nike tennis shoe because I walked into these people's homes, and I out of being polite, I took my shoes off in their house. I will never take my shoes off in someone's house ever again. That little shit. He messed my shoes off, like my favorite shoes. So now I have They just literally slip over, like when
like those
yeah, they're great.
like the doctors
like
wear in the operating room.
Yeah.
Yep, they slip right over, and then before I'm walking out, I slip them off, and I just, I'll just throw them in wherever I can get them in.
Yeah.
But I actually have to order more of them because I didn't have to use them for so long. I wasn't going into anyone's house. All right, I'm done.
Awesome.
Okay. Last but not least, we got Ronnie and her emergency kit here.
So I have
she can call it whatever she wants.
Well, no,
I call it a go shoot bag.
I have two different bags. So I have my regular install bag, like if I'm going and setting up a big garland or something. And then I have my ship bag for the deliverables. I
call it that too.
Yeah, or I think Dave put it nicely. I think he called it an oh crap bag. But so for so I've now started doing where, pretty much everything I try to inflate as much as possible beforehand. So I try to pre-build as much as, so like I did a 15-foot, organic garland standing. So we put it on the stand, and I put as much as I can that would fit in the back of the Suburban. So with that, I end up having my extra inflated balloons. Of course, they're in my twister, my 2x4 twister bags, which I love for decorating. So I can fit a whole column in one of these, minus the topper. So I'll put that in here. I can put, my favorite thing that we did is I can fit 25 fully inflated helium balloons in one of these. So if I'm doing, like we didn't, it was a deliverable with helium and 25 balloons just on the ground. So I had one that was full of the helium balloons with the ribbon, and then one that was full of the ones that were going on the ground. I put the piece on the table and just unzipped, and all the balloons floated up. And then this is all I have to carry out. Like my 5-inch rounds. I'm one of those like organic people that I want to put as many 5-inch rounds on my organic as I possibly can. So I will fill that up with this. So these are, I need 2 more. I love these.
What are they called, Ronnie?
That's a good question.
The balloon transporters.
It's just a transporter bag.
Yeah.
And those are the 2x4, and I have a 4x4, but it doesn't fit in the back of my vehicle. But I'll take it with me if we're doing an install. Like we did one where we were inflating like 33-foot balloons. And so anytime we would inflate them, we could throw them in there and then move them to where they were getting installed and then bring it back. So that way we weren't trying to, move these big bags around. But so for that install that I did, so if I'm going and I'm going into somebody's house, this is usually the bag that I take. I used to be a 31 consultant, so I'm obsessed with the embroidered 31 bags. So that's why I said, like, Dave will kill me if I buy another bag. But in here, I have all of my balloons that were on the display. Like I said, I'm a whole bagger. And then these are the leftovers from when I was just inflating them. So I keep all of that in here, and I do that because there have been so many times when people are like, can we add an extra 5 feet of organic? Yeah. So I have to be able to just throw an extra 5 feet of organic on there. I keep a handful of 350s because I don't use these. I don't like any colors I just have left over, because I was very excited when I started twisting, and I just kind of got like all the shades of colors in all the sizes. And then now I don't use those. So sometimes I find that this actually, if I tie 2 of these together, I can use this to make my garland, and I can add an extra 5 feet. Of course, scissors, like everybody. I have a little bit of 50-pound just leftover weight in case I have to tie anything. I have about 3, like everything's just kind of like thrown in here, but I have 3 of these, and this is nice for if you do where they're like, oh yeah, it's totally, you're just gonna attach it to the structure that we already have. And then it's like, great, how am I just gonna magically attach these balloons to the structure that you already have? And I found that these clips can clip on, and then I can tie
Good idea.
to this, and then that way I'm not damaging their structure. And if I get this back, great. If I don't, no big deal. Obviously duct tape. If I'm working with arrow pole, I'll throw gaff tape in here, but I don't like to leave gaff tape in here because if I take it out and I put it down on the ground, I don't want to have that argument with anybody that that's not their gaff tape. So because it's expensive, it only leaves the balloon room if we're working with arrow pole. And I've got extra 260s for when we used to do big organic on site. We have multiple gloves. There's a good chance that these could all be left hands because that's just who I am.
I find that sometimes that's only left-handed gloves.
Yeah, it's like how.
So I put one on backwards if I'm just.
You just put one on backward.
Yeah. So, well, what happened was I learned from Tawny and from somebody else. I want to say it was John Justice, but it might not be. But when you're doing when I was doing garlands, to take the fishing line, and whatever hand I was wrapping the fishing line around the balloons, that's the one that needed the glove. So I didn't need the second glove. So it's just gotten they exist somewhere. So it's like the left sock.
I was just going to say that, like the socks in the dryer.
It's the left sock. So then John Justice is the one that taught me about the rubber band trick with organic. And I had a whole bunch of 160s left over. So these 160s are old and I can't twist them. Like if I try to inflate them, they're not going to work. But they work really great for my organic. So I pre-tie, like I'll just sit one day and tie a whole bunch of them together. So I have them already pre-tied together. So that way I don't have to ask my assistants to stand there and like, can you make me 10 loops of 160s? Okay, thanks. And I try to keep them in the whatever color we're going to be working with, or so for this job, there was greenery that was added to it. So having the green wasn't a big deal because the green leaves were already on there. In my Legenda bag, I have a pole cutter and I have a wrench for my columns. And then we have this that I always forget to put in the bag, but it's got the multiple size pliers. And I don't remember why we needed these, but they're in here. Yeah, they're little. And at some points we needed these, and I really don't remember why, but it stays in the bag. It's in there. And then on the outside here, I have command hooks just in case I have to end up putting something on a wall. I have like maybe 5 of these. And I keep all of the strips in there. Another pair of scissors, a whole thing of glue dashes, and my business cards. Business cards. And a Sharpie. So this is my on-site. I'm going to be there, and I might actually have to inflate something like bag. And then my baby Legenda, if I'm adding any spiral curls to that big thing, the baby Legenda goes in here. And that's different than my oh shit bag. And so these are if I'm just dropping something off at somebody's house. This is the oh shit bag. And on the front, this used to be my like go-to bag. But the amount of balloon bags I needed to keep they don't all fit in here. So in here I have 160 or 260s and just scraps just in case. Of course, a hand pump. glue dashes are here on the side of my business cards. On the front here, I'm like, I don't even know what's in these pockets actually, honestly. Oh, for some reason I have a zip ties that I'll keep a handful of zip ties. And it's one of those things where like I needed it and I put it in the bag and then I don't remember why I needed it and why it's in the bag, but I know I have a pair or like a whole thing of zip ties in my on-site bag too. So whatever happened where I needed zip ties, they're in both of the bags. The delivery that I just did had these Mylars on it. So in case they popped, I have my backups are here. I do have an extra command hook just in case with with one strip. Like that's it. Like but these are again, like these are just for my no contact balloon deliveries. I literally drop the balloons off at the door. I knock on the door and it's like ding dong ditch, but with balloons. And then like we were talking about, I keep the whole bag. These were the colors. So the whole bag is in here. I have a cloth that it's gotten stickies on it. But in case the balloons get dirty on the bottom, I can wipe them off real quick. And a little mini measuring tape, which this doesn't need to be in here for the deliverables, but it is. And I do have a big one in my big bag. And that's it. This is my oh shit bag. So if I have multiples, and then what I like about it is that it does zip. And then that's it.
That's nice.
So yeah, so those are my two different types of bags. And those are different than obviously like, you know, what I'll do is I will have a bag like this that has all of the essential things, and then I will have individual job bags. So if I have multiple, like, you know, New Year's Eve when we're doing 7 to 10 jobs in 4 days, then I have 10 different bags that have all the balloons for all of those things. And then this usually becomes the one main bag that has the pliers, the scissors, the, you know, all the everything gets thrown into here except for balloons. And then the balloons get thrown into their own individual bags. And this was my favorite prints that they came up with. And I think I have like 4 of my big bags that have this print on them. And I started doing that because I didn't want my bags to get lost in the shuffle of all of the different vendors. It's like, no, that's definitely the Balloon Girls bag. Like, it says twist, stack, copy, repeat. And then they happen to do the little elephant, and that's my logo is a little baby elephant holding balloons. So I was gonna get all of my stuff embroidered with that. And then they stopped doing the elephant. So I just got like just basic stuff. I didn't want to put my company name on it because there were a lot of times when I was working for an agent.
For somebody else.
So I wanted to do something generic that said, yes, that is my balloon bag, but like, no, you can't just know that that's like, I didn't want anybody to say like, oh, you came with all your logo stuff. Like, nope.
Right.
But yeah.
So
but
Jonathan, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't realize you were
on my I got this. I know that she wasn't the first one to do it, but I got this idea from Jackie to put my name on my pump, and that's I've done that with all of them, and thank goodness, because I put my pump down in like a jam room or something, or just even on site, and I'm going, which one's mine? Like, oh, it says my name on it. So that does actually have my name on it. Oh, and then sorry, last thing, my scissors are on my oh crap bag are on a, I never say this right, carabiner.
Carabiner.
Carabiner. And so that way those are my scissors, so they can either come off or they can stay on there, but because it has the balloon on it, the scissors always make it back to me. And that's it. That's my oh shit bag and my on-site bag. Awesome. I'm very simple. My stuff's very simplified compared to you guys.
It's so I gotta scroll up a little bit here. Susie Marrero and Jonathan Fudge are both said that they keep alcohol swabs in their bag too. Jonathan says that he already had to use it to clean off a window for an install.
That's in my first aid kit.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Hey, I have that in my first aid kit. I have, and I keep in my car the cleaning wipes. So I would always have that in my vehicle.
Yeah, that you have the static guard of spraying down my vehicle before I load in the balloons.
Right.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
I like the way it smells also.
Yeah, it does smell really good. And somebody earlier, I want to say Devora. I apologize.
Yeah,
I'm
Devora
scrolling.
Leia,
Yeah, Devora Leia said that she always has one empty pocket in her apron for garbage. That pocket that was all the way on the left-hand side, the puffy pocket that I have my bandana and the extra balloons in, that initially was where I would throw all my trash, because that's a pocket that I generally empty out after every gig to like put the good balloons back or to wash the bandana. Like that's always where I end up shoving my trash.
Yeah.
I also keep a pocket for trash.
You just,
Yeah,
you know,
it
just
usually
makes
ends
it
up
so much
in one of
easier.
my pants pockets, or if I'm wearing a skirt, it ends up in my skirt pocket.
Yeah, when you're trying to make a quick getaway, the last thing you want to do is like be all packed up and then look and see there's like little U-glue dash, you know, trash all over the floor. And now you're like, well, now you got to crawl around and pick up all these little things. And they don't come up easy. They always stick whenever you're trying to get out of there. So there's a bunch of comments just happened. Mady Garcia says that that her logo is also an elephant.
Somebody told me to use, excuse me, 1 second, Lisa. I bought this off of Amazon. I saw
that's
it on
a good
Facebook.
idea.
I'm sorry that I don't remember the person who posted it. You're supposed to put a nail polish bottle in here, but it also has a little hole, and you could put U-glue dashes in here.
And people use it for, if you're doing on your hand. If you have to do weeding for vinyl.
That's what I bought it
for.
for, but I don't use it. I stick it on my other finger.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's for holding your nail polish.
That's what it's made for.
Nail polish.
You had Lisa at nail polish. Lisa's not even thinking
no, like I
anymore.
know what
you
that
had
is.
Lisa at nail polish.
But that's what it's made for, but it's great for U-glue dashes when you're
that's a really good idea.
I'm gonna put this in my kit right now.
There you go. Yeah, 25 years ago, I was a licensed nail technician. So I'm like, I recognize I might have one
You
somewhere.
still could be a licensed nail technician. You do like professional work.
I have to do all our nails that float.
Balloons, all balloons, all the time. Yeah, I'll do we'll do mani-pedis that float. Let's see. So there's a bunch of people talking about, I think because we're talking about like the bandanas and the static spray, and Ronnie showed her little her yellow rag there. What do we use or what do we do to keep the hair and debris off of our balloons? Nikia,
I have a Swiffer.
Yeah,
I have a little Swiffer duster.
And I try not to put them on the floor if I can help it.
Yeah, my goal is ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure. I have a monthly service to get my van cleaned. I can go unlimited, which boils down to once a day, every day, that I can go and get my car mini detailed on the inside, and they vacuum and dust it on the inside. And so if it's really bad, I'll go day after day after day. And I don't have animals in the house, so that's really helpful. And I have transporters like Ronnie does. So I will either put them in mattress bags or transporters. Sometimes I do just put them in my van because, again, I try and keep it as lint free as possible. And it helps keep my kids tidy because I'm like, you have to keep all your stuff out of the van. You cannot make a mess because I'm going to put balloons in here.
I put everything in a bag. Everything goes out in a bag.
Everything goes just about once in a blue moon, not, but most stuff goes out in the van. And if I'm gonna just put it in the van, sometimes I'll lay down, an old sheet or an old something.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah,
excuse me.
I try to vacuum the van.
I'll put an old sheet. Well, I mean, just generally keeping it clean. But like even on the shop down here, like before I start inflating, I have a Roomba down here, so he's always running. And then I'll go over with I have a dry cloth like Swiffer that I'll go over the floor with to try to get it before I'm inflating. But then I don't know where it is because it's usually in here. I have a little handheld, like the one that you would dust like your furniture with. Yeah. And then I just go like if I'm at, after I unbag it, if I'm setting up, if it just needs a little something, it just takes it right off.
I think
I stopped worrying very much about the balloons getting stuff on the on the bottom of them, because like I said, when I'm doing the deliverables, I'm literally putting it on the ground at the door. So for the most part, it's gonna get stuff anyway, right? Yeah, like it's gonna get something on the bottom of it anyway. But like as far as like getting stuff on the top of it, I'll try to wipe it out. I try to do that with the a lint sheet. A dryer sheet.
Right.
I'll try to do that, but I mean, I've dropped stuff off and I'm like, that is my hair right there on the back of that balloon. Like, and it's just like, oh my God. So I just tried it. Yeah.
Curly. So whose is it?
Right. Stephen Jones says he used to worry about branded things at subcontracted jobs until he realized that he was the only company doing that. I guess the only company worrying about it. I think in reference to Ronnie's monogram bags. I do have my large crop and style XXL that I have. mine does have a very large piece of embroidery on it that I had gotten
Yeah,
made, and then I
Jessica
stitched it
Zillman
to
is
the
actually
outside.
making me one to go
Oh,
over.
it's
Oh,
so
nice.
sharp.
She's making me a
Everybody
patch.
comments on it. Everybody comments on it.
Yeah.
And then lots of people are discussing their Swiffer sheets and lint sheets, and dollar store
I'm gonna
has
get
little
some of that
boxes of
static
alcohol
spray, though.
wipes.
That stuff's gonna be a lifesaver in this balloon room. Like I can just imagine
Very
spraying
And
the room
sometimes
down.
when we're just doing
Yeah.
regular bouquets and the ribbons all like stand out from the
Yeah,
stratus,
like squeeze out.
I
Yep.
just spray the whole area. I love
It's
it.
so helpful.
Yeah, that's
There's
really
one
good,
thing that Flavia, remind me of her last name, Lisa. I can't think of Flavia's last name right
I
now.
always say it wrong. It's like Olanuski.
Oh, and yeah,
Flavia?
Flavia. Oh, let's just say
Everybody
Flavia.
knows
Flavia. Oh,
Flavia.
Right.
everybody.
Everyone knows
Yeah.
Flavia.
I'm like, is
Okay.
there another
So
Flavia?
she came out with the most brilliant thing. I have had to do this before, but I've literally cut up one of those plastic tablecloths that I use, and I've had to tape it. She was doing an outdoor install, and they wanted it was an organic garland, and they wanted it around this wooden post, and the post was splintered and
Right.
hadn't really been stained. So quick thinking, she asked the lady if she had saran wrap, and she wrapped the pole, and I was like, oh my God,
What
that's
genius.
That's a really
because
good
I've
idea.
had to deliver to like park pavilions, like people will have birthday parties and they rent the
Right.
pavilion, and either it's super hot, like the wood is really hot, and I'm afraid that it's going to pop the balloons, or it's like the stain is like
Splintery.
peeling off, and
Right.
so I thought that was genius, and I actually keep meaning I'm going to write it on my little note. The saran wrap. I thought that because you don't even need any tape; it sticks to itself.
Yeah, it just sticks to
Right.
itself. Yeah.
And I just saw in Staples, it comes also like for food service, it comes on a pole, like on a stick, like 100 yards of it on a stick. And you just go around like this, and you don't even have to, otherwise it all sticks to itself. But that's the way, like, if you ever watch like Top Shelf, when they have to close their things, that's what so it comes on a stick. It wasn't even that expensive.
Yeah,
I feel like,
movers
I've
do that
seen
too.
them at like movers or at conventions. They always have when they have to wrap the
pallet.
Yeah, they have the big
and
thing
it has a handle on it, and it just goes around and around.
And just
I
goes
think we
around
have
real,
one. It's an orange
smooth.
one, and then there's a little like green tinted saran wrap. I think we have one. My husband gets really pissed at me because I always steal stuff. I can come up with these ideas, and then I steal stuff.
So
like that little M12 drill was his, and I was like, not anymore.
Yeah. Thanks, honey. So Stephanie McMillan, I'm not sure what you mean by if you have a little lid. I'm not sure how you say that. Is that a store that you purchased one of these things from? If you could let us know in the comments.
Little, yes, it's a supermarket.
Okay, so possibly the dryer sheets or the alcohol swabs we were talking about. And for anybody watching, Jonathan Fudge put a link in the comments to Uline for that. It's called a good wrapper.
Nice.
That saran wrap thing that actually comes on a handle and is meant for wrapping.
Like I said, I saw it in Staples also. Like
Uline,
you probably have to buy like 5,000 yards of saran wrap.
Yeah. Being a military family, we've seen that used quite a bit.
Right.
So I want to thank everybody for hanging with us. We actually went a little bit long today. Our viewership has held steady the whole time though, so I guess you guys are getting some good tips. I know that I'm going to be rewatching the episode. I don't know about you ladies, just so I can double check against what I've got in my toolbox.
I have my notes.
I have a little
note.
Like,
yeah. And
I love seeing people's toolkits.
And here's the bit, like Stephanie, I got so I can start organizing my deliverables because I just loved your idea so much.
Those envelopes.
I got I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna put the whole bag in here. It's just gonna be, and this is gonna be my new to put in my shit bag. You're loose.
Yeah.
No more whole baggers.
So again, thank you for Jonathan for that link. That's awesome. And
That's
Stephanie
awesome.
McMillan has clarified that she says if you have a little nearby and it's LIDL, they occasionally have the laser measurement tool cheaper than the Bosch one, same functionality. So I would be sure that it has the laser pointer, and that double check how long it is, because you don't want to end up with like the 60-foot one if you're somebody who's going to be working in like really big arenas. I just got the biggest one they have, because better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Because you're a BA, Lisa.
And even if you don't get that, get yourself one of those little laser pointers, because that, like, just even the little, you know,
that's
dog
what I used to have.
So stupid.
I used to have
a yard thing, like a landscaper that he comes and it rolls on wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I walk like the length. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
I
say,
just
like,
stand
you
there.
know,
I stand there and point and go boop, and I'm like, oh,
I
that's
know, I want
28
to get
feet.
that thing.
That's,
Yeah.
I have
well,
the
that's
little wheel
been
thing.
one of the first ones that I did without Dave, the walkthrough that I did. So Dave does this thing where if I'm like, I need this measurement, and so he will literally walk, and he goes like this, like 1 foot over the other.
That's what I do.
And then he's like, okay, it's going to be, you know, it's like 10 feet. And so I had to do that. I'm like going, okay, so I did it. And then I had to do math, because I'm like, all right, I don't have a size 12 foot. So I was like, okay,
Right.
7.5 times this, okay, this many feet. And I was like, this is ridiculous. This looks so stupid. We got to get a measuring thing. So he got one of those little measuring things.
Oh, Jonathan has also commented on our backgrounds. Love, capital letters. I think we all really love
look fuzzy.
And I want to pet my backdrop.
When we first decided on them, we were all like doing this. Yeah.
I know. So
and
funny. Maybe that's why I
Dory,
keep yawning. I just feel fuzzy.
Yeah.
Dory Saypool says that it's pronounced Leedle, rhymes with needle. So thanks for that. A little bit of a tongue. I've never heard of that store before.
We did a couple of grand openings for them. Such a pain in the neck.
Oh, wow. Flavia says, Flavia, I'm assuming you mean the little laser pointer that she showed up at the job with the measuring tool. And the client was very impressed, and she got the job because of it. She showed up at a site visit. I've had the same thing. You know, you whip that out and suddenly they're like, oh, wow, like you're professional.
Yeah,
I used to have a laser pointer.
What you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a measuring tape and a laser pointer. And it was like when my laser pointer died, it was just, it was kind of a no-brainer. I went to the store to like pick up some batteries, and I'm like, forget that. I'm getting this gadget. Thank you.
It's great to
tax
have.
deductible.
Yeah, right.
So I think we've kind of wound down. Yeah, we definitely ran over. Again, thank you everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We hope you guys got some good information.
Do we have a wonder of the
week?
And
we do have a wonder of the week, and I am going to share this with you guys. Share screen. There we go. So tonight we would like to recognize Brian and Christina Getz. They are from Pretty Funny Balloons, and some of you guys may have seen that Brian posted earlier this week that he sat down and cut up a year's worth of tassels for their balloons. His wife and their employee was out doing deliveries, and he's back at the studio, and this is a job that he does not really particularly care for, and so he just sat down and just motored through it. Now, I've known Brian from way back in his twister only days, and this is the kind of stuff that he used to do for his twisting balloons, and I was very impressed. He had this bookshelf, and it was you know, if you're a twister, like we have these bundles of balloons, and whenever the bundle runs low, you pull it out, you unroll it, open it up, and then add all of your twisting balloons. He would have like 3 or 4 bundles for like his different color sets, and he would just do all of them all at one time. And so whenever one bundle ran low, he could take it out and replace it with a brand new one. And so I really appreciated, and especially appreciate the Roy.
He also had a video of
and it looks
how he
so
makes
pretty.
his tassels.
He did.
On that same post, he showed you how he makes his tassels.
Yeah, but I mean, being that me particularly, if you guys recall, my vision board was about organizing my balloon room. You guys get ready for this. So this is their studio. Everything is all neat and organized. So just wait. Look at that.
Can we organize a hit on him or something?
Yeah, is that not amazing? And this right here, if you guys see that
he has Roy G. Biv. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, is that for pictures?
It is. This drape pulls over and they can take photos in front of it. They actually have a projector too for watching movies, which is just extra fun. And you see it's got a rolling ladder there. Brian's quite tall. If you recall the picture, Brian's quite tall. His wife is not so much. And here's the helium area.
Wow.
Right?
Oils.
Yes. So
I want to be him when I grow up.
Right? I want to mop the drool up. Their home is actually quite wonderful. It was a general store, if I recall. And so they live upstairs, and downstairs was the general store area. So it has these big, tall ceilings. Did he make his own
helium net?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And look at all the
it's just PVC, and then it's like
that deer mesh stuff.
Like deer mesh.
Such a good idea.
Look how organized.
Made one for Jill. That's what she has in her shop. He made it for her.
We got one of those the round nets, and I hung it up with push pins in the garage next to my tank.
And there they are. They recently bought bonsai balloons. I hope I'm saying that right. And so that's nice. Our wonder of the week. Thank you so much, Brian and Christina. You guys are definitely something for us to shoot for. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Stephanie so you guys know how to become a wonder of the week.
So if you guys, you yourself or you know someone who is a wonder of the week, you guys have done something spectacular, overcome an obstacle, we want to hear from you. You can nominate somebody to be a wonder of the week, or you can tell us your own story. You can email those to floatworkingwonders@gmail.com, or you can private message any of the four of us. Let us know what's going on with you, send us some pictures, and we'll get you on the show. Let you know.
I want to tell you what's going on in the Float Network. We are coming up in a couple of weeks. We're going to have a class by Melissa Vincent, who is always fabulous, always has great ideas. She's going to be teaching about gearing up for graduation. Also, keep your eyes out, because anybody who attended Dante's class will be able to soon buy the digital download. And if you didn't attend it and you missed it, you'll also be able to buy it. Not quite at the same price, but lots of stuff going on here, folks. So keep your eyes on your emails and on the Float Convention Facebook group.
And then, of course, as always, I just want to remind everybody that these are really kind of our opinions and the way that we do. We run our businesses. We're not saying that you have to do it the way that we do it. We're just showing you how we do it. And we're learning so much from each other. Like, I never would have thought to get those envelopes for my deliveries. I love that idea so much, Stephanie. You have no idea.
Well, good. I'm glad it's working out for you.
So excited to be organized.
So please join us next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when the ladies and I will be doing part 2 of this series. We're going to be talking about our must-have equipment. That would be like your bigger purchases, inflators and whatnot. And if you guys could join us then too, that'd be great. Again, we're Wonder of the Week. We would love to hear from you guys. And thank you all for staying a little bit later tonight. Really appreciate it. And the activity in the chat has been so wonderful. You guys are working wonders too. Don't forget, it's not just who we are, it's what we do. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.